Hello, welcome to this video. I'm joined by Christopher Carvalho.
Hiya.
And I'm going to talk to Christopher about top tools for releasing music.
Yes, tools for releasing music.
Okay, so let's jump straight into it. So Christopher, what is the first tool you recommend for releasing music?
A music distributor of your choice. We've talked a lot about those before in terms of the different distributors and what to look out for. So obviously you need some kind of music distribution service to put your music on the platforms and stuff, right?
So this is what, like DistroKid, CD Baby?
TuneCore, Ditto, etc., yeah. But we've talked about that before, and I've got pieces about that, so that's fine. That's one tool, right? Another tool would be some kind of project management tool. One I like is Trello a lot. Trello's really, really good. Trello just kind of makes it very easy to kind of centralize all of the things that you need to have and to do in order to, for the sake of the project. And it's very much a collaborative tool as well. So to give you an idea of how it works, a project on Trello is like a board, right? You get this board, and each board contains a set of lists. So you might have like a social media list, you might have an admin list, you might have a list for your files and that sort of thing. It just allows you to organize all of that stuff, because releasing music is quite a complex beast, actually, isn't it? Especially if you're releasing an album or something like that, there's so many things that go into it. There's not just the audio, there's the metadata, there's all of the marketing assets, there's the timeline of everything. So Trello makes it quite easy to centralize all of that stuff, but also you can collaborate on it. You could create an item and then add someone to that item if it needs their attention. You could do things like set a time to the item, and then it sends an email reminder to the people who are involved, that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's okay. Trello.
Is Trello free?
Trello.
What was it?
Trello is free to use, yeah, okay. Definitely.
That's good. What about Slack? Because we use Slack.
Slack is amazing. So Slack is instant messaging for Teams, would you say? Something like that?
Yeah. So if you have WhatsApp or any other message service, that's generally for friends. This is just specific for projects or teams. Definitely.
And, it's more advanced than a simple IM like WhatsApp, right? In Slack, you can kind of create these different channels, these different topics, if you like. Bit like Discord or something like that?
Yeah. We have a general channel, then we have specific ones for different kind of projects and whatnot.
Definitely. Slack, you can also hook up to things like Trello. So if an item appears in a Trello list, it can automatically get sorted into a Slack channel, and then we can talk about it in there. So that's where these things get really modular and stuff. So yeah, Slack is very useful. That's also free to use.
I was going to say, what about Zapier?
Zapier, yeah. So
that's very cool.
Zapier's really cool. So what did I use Zapier for recently? I used Zapier to connect. Oh yeah, so for example, I needed to create a sign-up form recently for a project. And what I did was I used Google Forms for that, which is really useful. And I connected it via Zapier to Trello, so that every time someone filled out the form, it created this item in Trello on this specific list. And then from there, I can sort it and move entries into different things, if that makes sense.
There is a free plan for Zapier as well. I think it's up to, is it 100 zaps a month or something like that? So there is a free plan.
It's whatever it is. I think it's quite generous.
Yeah.
It's, so basically Zapier is it connects up various services, like in the example I just gave, or Google Sheets or
Google Sheets,
Trello,
Mailchimp, stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So it connects up your app, Zapier. It's very, very powerful, and it's you don't need to know how to code or anything to use it. It's very simple. So that's Zapier. So what we've done so far, Trello, Slack, Zapier. So I suppose the other thing would be like, you need like your landing pages and stuff, right? So first of all, probably need to define a landing page. A landing page, generally speaking, is like a single web page that serves some purpose.
What's that one that has all the links that people use in the Instagram?
Oh, yeah. That's Linktree.
Linktree,
yeah.
So that's good if you're just getting started, if you want to direct people to social media platforms.
Yeah. So Linktree, I mean, the reason Linktree exists is because on Instagram, you can only have one link on your profile.
Yeah.
So Linktree solved that problem by creating a link on which you would connect other links or link other websites or whatever. So a lot of artists, you might have seen them use it on Instagram and other platforms where you load their Linktree and then there's a link to their Spotify and then a link to their YouTube and then a link to their Bandcamp and then blah, 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 blah. It's basically just link aggregation software, if you like. But it's kind of nice. You can style it and make it your own, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for hosting or anything. I think there's a paid version, but a lot of it can be done in the free one.
It's like a really basic landing page or website that you can use to...
Don't think you can do email capture with that, though.
I think they have an integration with Mailchimp now, which is interesting. Yeah. So that brings us quite neatly onto Mailchimp. Mailchimp is one of many kind of like email marketing services. It's very important. Wouldn't you agree, Thomas?
Yeah, there are other ones as well. Mailchimp is it's a good one for beginners.
Definitely, it's definitely the one to get started with, in my opinion. On Mailchimp, so for example, if you're releasing an album, you like leading up to the album, you might do like a kind of email marketing campaign where you collect email addresses, and that's a kind of like, don't miss a beat, be the first to get the album, be the first to get the pre-sale, that sort of thing. So that gives you an opportunity to collect email addresses, which actually becomes an asset to your business, right? Having that direct line with your audience. So Mailchimp, you can simply create a Mailchimp account and you can create like sign-up forms and landing pages, and you can style them in your way so that you can start like collecting email addresses and getting subscribers and stuff.
I believe it's free for up to 2,000
subscribers.
Like that. There is a free plan, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. A possible alternative to that, which I quite like as a similar kind of solution, is Substack.
Okay, I don't actually know that one. What's Substack?
So Substack is like, it doesn't put itself as email marketing software, but it is very good at it. It's like a platform for writers, for journalists and that sort of thing, where they can build up their mailing list, build up their subscribers, but also turn on a paid subscription inside the platform. But it's free to use, and if you're a bit more of a writer, right, and you write a lot of words, and that's a big part of your output, Substack is definitely worth considering, because I actually moved over from Mailchimp or similar stuff to Mailchimp to Substack, and it actually allowed me to import my subscribers into it, and I started using that as a channel. But instead of it just being email marketing and pushing out emails, it's more of a platform where you can write articles and make podcasts and that sort of thing.
Oh, there's a show going on behind us. There we go, a little interlude. Sorry, Christopher, you were saying? Might be a little noisy here. I apologise if it is.
We're talking about, so Substack, it's definitely worth considering, but basically you want some kind of email channel, right, between you and your audience. And that could be Mailchimp or Substack or any other email marketing software. I've got a link about that as well, actually. We can probably put that in the notes.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about like content marketing, like YouTube videos or a podcast?
Great.
Do you recommend doing that?
Great. Yes. Yeah. That's where Trello really comes in useful because it helps you organize all of that content. Because one of the difficult things about releasing music is being organized. You know?
Yeah, deadlines.
Deadlines, just so many bits, so many materials that go into it. It's very difficult to stay organized. So, but yes, in terms of making content and stuff, I mean, obviously there's Canva, right? Canva's an amazing tool.
Free, well, they have a free plan as well, which is great.
Like, it's insane how good that tool is, actually. I mean, even you can use it for as little as YouTube thumbnails, but all the way up to actual video content.
They have a new AI feature where you can type in, for example, like a monkey with a red hat in Apple. And it'll make a pretty good job of it. It's not perfect yet, but maybe in the future it would be a lot better.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it, the stuff? You can also make websites on Canva now.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Mailchimp, I think you can.
Yeah,
some kind of
Mailchimp. Yeah. So
as well,
it's worth like if you just want to spin up your own website, but you're not necessarily a web builder or anything, like tools like that are really good. I mean, okay, we could talk a little bit about websites, I suppose. The kind of like the no-code go-to solutions, if you will, are like Squarespace, WordPress.
WordPress is a little trickier.
It's a bit more advanced, WordPress, yeah. I mean, WordPress has a lot of like, you could scale WordPress. Like you can, there's no ceiling to WordPress really. Squarespace is probably the easiest way to make a good-looking website, I reckon, is Squarespace.
There's actually Google Sites. I made a site for my friend on Google Sites recently. I think it's simple, but it's easy, really easy.
Sure. I think if you want a really easy, like almost Lego-like solution to building a website that looks as good as your Instagram profile, I think it's Squarespace. It's definitely not Wix. No. Wix is good, but it's difficult to make something that looks good.
It depends, like, on your budget as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's also, I was talking to someone recently who uses Bandzoogle, which is pretty cool. Okay. It's like a web builder for musicians. I quite like it.
Specifically for musicians.
Yeah, Bandzoogle. I mean, there's also Bandcamp, which is a music platform, but it's kind of a web store for musicians. You can kind of make a website on Bandcamp, but it is quite limited as well. But Bandcamp is part of the release toolkit as far as I'm concerned, because on Bandcamp you can more so than you can do on like Spotify and stuff. You can kind of like productize your release a bit. You know, what I advise artists to do is like make a premium or deluxe version on Bandcamp, maybe with some extra material that you can't get on the other ones. So,
well, like the uncompressed, or like the WAVs or something.
Yeah, the uncompressed, maybe a couple bonus tracks on the album as well. Like you can even like, a lot of people don't know this, but like you can add media to a release on Bandcamp. So whether that's like videos or even like I had an artist once make these nicely designed kind of like PDF liner notes for her album, if that makes sense. Yeah. And we chucked that in the Bandcamp release. So that's another one, Bandcamp.
Any other points, Chris? I believe you're working on a new project called Songcards, is that right?
Songcards, yeah. So Songcards is a bit like, it's simply just a way to help you sell your music as a digital collectible via the link in bio. So it's a simple like link in bio solution. People will open the Songcard link and you have these song cards which contain songs and other media and that sort of thing. And it's just there and people can just buy it with Apple Pay or Google Pay right there in the link in bio. Simple as that. If you're interested in learning more about that, the beta program is now open. So you can learn about that at beta.songcards.io. Link in there.
Yeah, link could be in the description. Yeah. Okay, so any final thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, just with releasing music, just keep it simple. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all of this stuff, even with all of the tools that we mentioned. So if it feels a bit messy in your head and you don't have other people to lean on, just keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can encapsulate in your brain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, good points. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thanks for joining me, Chris.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you liked it, give it a like. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one.